All the
Good
best.
morning, everybody. I shall be talking on the retrospective study of management of sebaceous gland carcinomas of the eyelid. The sebaceous gland carcinomas are most common eyelid malignancies, and they arise from the meibomian glands, glands of Jay's, glands associated with the caruncle, and the most common site being the upper eyelid. The differential presentations are solitary eyelid nodule, diffuse eyelid thickening with loss of lashes, blepharoconjunctivitis, and rarely pedunculated or ulcerated. And the investigations we do are incision or excision biopsy, conjunctival map biopsy, and subsequently the tissue diagnosis by histopathology, immunohistochemistry, lymph node assessment, imaging by CT MRI. Now, different surgical treatment options for sebaceous gland carcinoma are primary surgical excision with frozen section or permanent section, exenteration for unresectable orbital diseases with or without metastasis, different adjuvant therapies and neoadjuvant therapies, targeted therapy against epidermal growth factor receptors with monoclonal antibodies, and management of metastasis. The study purpose was to study the clinical features of eyelid sebaceous gland carcinoma, to evaluate the type of treatment and its outcome, and to evaluate the prognosis after the treatment. It was a retrospective study. Patients with histologically proven diagnosis of eyelid sebaceous gland carcinoma without any prior intervention were included. There was no clinical evidence of distant metastasis in any of the patients. We had taken the help of our MRD, and we had selected 20 eyes of 20 patients and a follow-up period of 5 years from 2015 to 2020, having a male-female ratio of 16:4 and age group ranging from 50 to 70 years. And in 15 cases, upper lid was involved, and the 5 cases, the lower lid. And only eyelid involvement was in 17 cases, and there were orbital spread in 3 cases with lymph node involvement, local lymph node involvement in 1 without any involvement in. Did the metastatic workup, and the treatments driven preoperative chemotherapy, neoadjuvant therapy, excision of the lid tumor was done in under frozen section with lid reconstruction. We did orbital exenteration. And the case where in one case the preoperative chemotherapy, there we could manage to do lid tumor excision under frozen section, as after the chemotherapy the tumor size was decreased and we did reconstruct it. It was followed by ipsilateral lymph node dissection with adjuvant neck radiotherapy. Now the results were the preoperative chemotherapy given in 4 patients, 1 with diffuse eyelid involvement and 3 with orbital involvement. There was no recurrence in 2 patients, and exenteration had to be done in 2 patients. The 1 patient having orbital eyelid ipsilateral lymph gland involvement was free of tumor in orbit after the chemotherapy, and the size of the lid tumor was decreased considerably to manage it surgically. And this case was ultimately managed with the excision of the lid tumor and with margin clearance under frozen section, and lid reconstruction was done, followed by radical lymph node dissection and chemotherapy. In the 1-year follow-up, patient had no recurrence. Rest of the cases were managed surgically only. This was the diffuse eyelid involvement, and it was the result after the chemotherapy. And this was a primary management master's cheek rotation flap. And there's a Cutler beard flap. This is the post-exenteration. And to conclude, this is a retrospective study performed in a tertiary care center dealing with a relatively uncommon ocular pathology. Most cases showed good prognosis with primary surgical excision and lid reconstruction. And tumor with orbital spread or pagitoid spread were treated with chemotherapy. 25% of these eye needed no further intervention, but 50% needed exenteration. Thank you very much.
Dr. Raka, you said 25% needed no further intervention. So basically the ones with pagitoid spread responded completely to
Yes.
neoadjuvant chemotherapy?
Yes. I meant that one, that case only. Because it's a very small sample study, I cannot tell much about it, but that was the only case of pagitoid spread which resolved completely.
And did not need any surgery post-op?
No. Post-chemo.
What chemo regime you have given to your patients?
I had sent the patient to oncologist, and he gave cisplatin 5-fluorouracil 4 cycle completely.
4 cycle. And how you evaluated the response of chemotherapy in your cases?
Sir, I evaluated the patient clinically, and also every time I had done a metastatic workup, and the PET scan was very important part, because you must be remembering the case where the single local lymph node was involved. That case also we had not gone for any sentinel node biopsy. The PET scan was enough to guide us regarding the condition of the disease.
What was the toxicity you observed in after chemotherapy or during chemotherapy cycle?
Sir, toxicity, the patients were aged patient. So there was impaired liver function test. Patient that was managed by the
Liver function
oncologist.
test or some other function test you want to do before chemotherapy and every cycle?
Renal function test, liver
Yes.
function test, and complete blood count.
Very good.
Complete blood count.
The general toxicity always you can see in your patient like loss of hair, alopecia, as well as mucositis. These are the common complications. Okay, how you reconstructed the patient?
Sir, the tumor size in 17
What
cases.
was the
which were-
different technique? I mean, what are the different techniques you adopted in your cases?
Yes, depending on the tumor size and taking a 5 millimeter healthy margin, margin clearness. So depending on the tissue loss, some cases were managed by direct closure. One case was managed by master's decrutation flap, and one case I had to go for Cutler beard because of too much of extensive lesion. And as I already told, 2 cases I had to do exenteration. This is very much destructive procedure.